All right, y'all, welcome on back. I hope you've been doing well, and I hope you've been treating yourself well, because remember, you're worth it. Today we're going to be playing Bloodmoon Survivors. You are a Lunar Knight of the Bloodmoon, and tonight is your night. It's time for violence. Take the fight to the twisted horrors conjured by the Bloodmoon. Gain experience, grow stronger, and synergize your weapons to crush the enemy forces and survive the night. This is by indie developer and publisher Nicholas Evelson. So I am excited. I always love playing games by indie developers. I believe that they need all the attention that they can get. So, Shaded Woods, I have played this a little bit, so I do have an idea of what we're going through. We're not going to play through the tutorial. I'm just going to explain the gameplay as we go. So we're going to do standard enemies, which is going to give us a plus 10% drop rate of gold and of minerals. These are your starting weapons, the broadsword and the crossbow. Yes, you start with 2 weapons, and you'll see why. Alright, let's get stuck in. Now, you can replay the tutorial, and the tutorial automatically starts when you play your first game, when you launch your first game of this. And I gotta say, it is one of the best tutorials I have seen in a long time. It lays out the gameplay very clearly. It communicates everything very clearly to the player, and I very much appreciate that. So as you play along the level up, you'll get to choose an upgrade, and you'll see what it does here. It's plus 5% projectile damage, and more specifically what it does. So it throws out and pulls back a boomerang that deals projectile damage on the way out and double projectile damage on the way back. So it gets 6 shots to trigger and a 75% projectile damage. And you get to see down here what it is aligned to. So we have projectile, which means it's going to be used for the bow, and it's active. And up here you can see that we have all these slots. So we can have 3 active projectile bonuses and 3 active melee bonuses, but we can also have melee passives and projectile passives, and you can level these up 4 times each. Our other one is a melee passive, Heavy Shoes, on perfect weapon switch, and we'll get to what that is. Knock back all nearby enemies. Knockback does not affect elites or bosses. I'm going to go with the boomerang, and we'll accept that. Now that's only going to be used when we switch weapons. So, on the keyboard, to switch weapons, okay, here we go. Long arm on perfect weapon switch, deal projectile damage to all nearby enemies. So that's a projectile passive, or we have Jar of Honey, which you throw a jar and it releases poison damage. So this is an active projectile. I like this one, so we're going to use that. So let's go over weapon switching. So you push the space bar, and that little timer bar showed up. It's a mini game. You want to get it into the little highlighted section of that bar, and we'll go through it again when I switch to melee. Alright, number of projectile fired, every shot is increased by 1. And I'm not even going to look at this one. Well, we'll look at it. More time for 1. If we strike X enemies or less, it deals bonus damage. So right now it's only 1 enemy, but yeah. So we're going to go with the projectile passive. Now we could re-roll these, but you see, I haven't had to. I've always liked the choices that I've gotten. So we got arrows now shooting above, in front of us and behind us. So here's that one more time again. Or we can do an evolution. Now this says that if we level up our live triage and our boomerang, we'll get an evolution. Performing a perfect weapon switch has a % chance to heal a missing heart, and has a 5% chance and has a 60-second cooldown. I'm going to choose that. That's very handy. So I'm going to switch weapons again. Oop, I got hit. Okay, so we have hearts up here that get damaged, but I've taken a passive bonus that you can buy that you start the game with, and that is a shield bonus. So it destroyed my shield instead of my life. Now let's go ahead after this. Backhand, perform a second melee attack behind you with every strike. And you can see these are uncommon because of the attack speed here is higher than what you would normally get. In a rare, melee attack speed is increased. And this shoots a cone of frost in front of you. 12 swings to trigger, melee damage, and does frost. I like this because it increases our attack speed on melee. Like I said, let's do a weapon switch here. And pay attention, we'll have that little bar above our head. And you want to try to get it into the highlighted area. So let's do that now. Boom. And it gives me this bonus little fire. It's extra damage, I believe. Oh, yes. Poison pool. Secrete a poisonous pool at your feet. Enemies standing in the pool gain poison. Takes 10 swings to trigger. I like this as well. I really like the poison here. Now there are 2 bars at the bottom of our screen. See, one has a sword by it, and one has a bow and arrow by it. What that does is they slowly fill up based on what weapon we are using. Alright, icicles. Launch icicles at random enemies. Or we can increase our jar of honey, which is what I'm going to do. So after these bars fill up, you push the space bar and you activate both weapons at once, which is really nice. So when those bars fill up all the way, alright, Poison Pool 2 or Jar of Honey 3. So less shots to trigger, more poison damage, bigger radius. I'm going to choose this one because I really like that one when we're in melee. So you see our, ooh, that's really nice and epic. Increase melee speed, throw something behind you. Now this is going to be a passive, so we have the extra slots for passive. So when you fill up that bar, it's really nice because you're going to do ranged attacks and melee attacks at the same time. Now it does slowly deplete. You saw I got rid of that treasure chest down there. Ow. By hitting it. Alright. Alright, I'm talking. So I'm not doing very well. So I died, and that is what we had. Now I didn't do anything very well. I have no achievements I completed, so there's that. Alright, so we're gonna get started again. Ooh, possible upgrades. So we see our money up here. We see all of our resources. And if we have an upgrade, it has an exclamation point here. Or an exclamation mark. Now, this is an issue that I have. It's almost the same color. And you can see it, but it doesn't really pop out. I would like to see that exclamation point like a different color. I would like to see it something that pops out at you saying, hey, I'm calling your attention to this, right? But anyways, oh, I didn't mean to click on it. So this increases your rerolls by 1, but you'll see that I have increased movement speed, regrowth, and pickup range. So something about regrowth is you do regain health over time. It just takes quite a bit of time. I think you have 15 seconds, or you have to defeat 15 enemies without taking damage. All right, my Mouse is freaking out here a little bit. Not sure why. But yeah, as you can see, it's a pretty standard vampire survivor game, but it does do these little twists on it that make it that much more different to make it interesting. It's different from the genre, but the same. So you know what you're getting when you come into it. And that follows Jacob's Law, which is an interactive design law where make everything the same or similar as things that are already out. So WSD movement is an example of that. It's become a standard. So this is familiar when you're fighting, but then you have other elements such as this and the weapon switch that mix it up, and that's very nice. Yeah, I'm going to go for permafrost. Okay, down here you can see in 70 some odd range. I don't know what the exact range calculation is, but we'll get a weapon bonus. That's with the little sword there. So treasure chests and barrels, you hit several times to unlock them. We're going to stand here until this fills up. Again, very standard. All right, second nemesis awakens. Okay, so I was wrong. It's not a weapon bonus. It's the second nemesis. Life triage. There we go. We're going to do icicles. So when we level up, you see how it pushed everybody away? So that's a nice thing about one of the level ups, is you get the little bonus of it just like clears the enemies around you. Heavy shove creates an evolution with icicles. Let's do that. It's a melee passive, even though icicles is a ranged attack. You can pair them up with melee attacks, which is really nice, or melee passives. All right, so you can see our goal here is soldiers rescued. We need to rescue 3 soldiers. Now this is not easy. I wish this was a little easier. It is pretty difficult, but we're gonna give it a shot. Also, something else I would like to see, just because I'm a busy person, I don't like that the timer is at 20 minutes. I would like to see that reduced, or you have an option to reduce it. And what you're gonna, the benefit of having it as a longer time is that you're gonna get more resources, or you might get a resource bonus. Lower time, you're not gonna get those bonuses. You're not gonna get as many resources. Let's do jar of honey. I'm gonna have to switch here to get my ranged meter filled. So now I have to kill 100 enemies in this circle. Now, if you have played other games such as Jotun Slayer, if you leave that circle, you lose the number of enemies you killed or progress in that little circle. In this, you don't. So you can move around to clear some of those enemies out and go back in if you're being overwhelmed. Level up, push the enemies back. So I'm getting overwhelmed. Now I'm in the circle. I got all these guys kind of clustered up. Farts. I like farts. Ow. Alright, halfway there. Ah, stupid little range guys. My mouse is freaking out for some reason. Here, I'm going to turn it on and off again. Maybe that's going to help. I am using a wireless mouse. There we go. What do we get for boomerang? 5%. Let's do increased melee attack. I don't like using ranged attacks for these. Ow. Son of a gun. Alright, you'll see the hearts above my head. Ah! That means that it's regenning. Okay, let's see if we got anything. Nothing. So the game can feel a bit grindy because it is difficult, and I'm playing on normal. Let's give it another go. Now, I have the rapier unlocked. Let's try that. Elegant, precise. This weapon has a far reach and is great for hitting the back lines of enemies. Now, you do get mastery bonuses, so if you keep using this weapon, it gets stronger over time. So that's also a very nice feature. And we've seen things like that in Rogue Genesia. So again, it's not... Oh, look at that, it's a pokey weapon. It's not something new, but it's nice to know it's there. Poke, 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 poke. I have not used the rapier yet. I might have to change the battery in my mouse. Probably should try out that hammer the one more time or whatever it is. Alright, pick up our little experience gems. Hellfire! We haven't seen Hellfire yet. It summons a pillar that burns enemies, and we'll show what that looks like. There it is. And we have a limited amount of time to aim it. But it's nice that we get to aim it. It's not just a random spot. Yeah, that's nice. Ah, Shuriken. I do like Shuriken. See, it sends us out, and they spin for a while, then they come back. Alright, let's switch here. Or let's switch when we get to the soldier. That's something I should be doing to push those enemies back. It is a very nice defensive mechanic that is built in naturally. I have not used a controller with this yet, so I don't know what that feels like, but I'd be interested to see how this runs on the Steam Deck. I also want to kill one of the Nemesis, or Nemesi, the Nemesis that appears. Alright. Chance to gain armor, projectile damage. So this is going to increase this to level 2. Let's just keep going on that. That's nice. I can stay out of the circle. Or stay in the circle while killing those ranged dudes. I'm gonna fry him. Die. Oh, what the heck? Farts. I like the farts. Ow! I just ran into that guy. I don't know why I did that. Oh, 20% melee damage, or melee attack speed. Let's go with the damage. Let's go epic. Ooh, extra resources there. Alright, we gotta get back to rescuing this guy. I would like to kill that Nemesis to show you what happens when you do. More shurikens, like it. Ow. Alright, we're gonna back off. Let's take Boomerang. Yeah, we need to let our hearts regen, our life regen here. I think it's 15 seconds. Alright, this is the Nemesis. Alright, I'm gonna try to take him out. Oh. So that we can see what happens. I know what happens. See, unlike other enemies, he has a health bar. Oh, damn it. I thought freezing him would not trigger damage, but it does. Nope. Okay, so when you beat the Nemesis, it creates a golden chest, and it gives you a permanent bonus while you're doing the run. Sorry I'm having trouble with this. Yeah, take it. Thank you. I have gotten farther in the game than this, but I think it's because I'm talking and trying to teach, trying to play, trying to teach you the game at the same time. Alright, so we did get deal melee damage and how many elites we killed, so we got the reward of more money. Let's see if we have any upgrades. Yeah. Some of these are locked in the demo, which is to be expected. The first 2 rows are not. Okay, we can increase the number of power-up choices. So right now we have 2. This will give us 3 power-up choices. Wow, you need a lot. So yeah, it does feel like a grind a bit, which I would like to see that turned down. I don't want to be so grindy, especially at the beginning, because look at this. I need 2,000 gold, fine, but I need 1,000 of these blue resources, these aquamarine, lapis lazuli, or whatever they are. With the current difficulty level, that's a lot. Alright, let's get this. And the nice thing is that we can refund everything and start over again if we're not happy with our current build. If we want to lean into something like movement or, more shield at the start of the game. Yeah, that's Bloodmoon Survivors. I like this. I'm interested in seeing what the development is. I'm going to follow it, and I recommend you do too. It helps out our indie developers and designers, which is always nice. They need the motivation, they need the support. It's very difficult to get that kind of attention as an indie developer, as I've said before. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I would like to see how it plays with the controller. I haven't done that yet, and I would like to see a little bit more fine-tuning so it doesn't feel as grindy. But yeah, thank you for coming along. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found that informative. Remember to take care of yourself because you're worth it. Cheers.